See, in Gmail, it puts it all the way
My
over
calculator,
here,
right?
but in my other one, that all mails on the way on the other side.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Get to that.
But I can get to any of them.
Right,
And if I wanna switch out Gmails, I just click on it and I can pick the one.
right, right.
Call to order the Bucksport Town Council meeting for Thursday, February 27th, 2025. This meeting will be held in person. It can be viewed on local cable channel 1303 or on the internet by accessing the town website at bucksportmaine.gov, clicking on Watch Meeting and selecting Town Council. Questions and comments may be submitted prior to or during the meeting by emailing slassard@bucksportmaine.gov or during the meeting by calling 307-8030. And we ask now to just take a moment and turn off your cell phones. Roll call?
Roll call. Counselor Jennifer Terrian.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Mark Eastman.
Here.
Counselor Paul Rabs.
Here.
Counselor Steve Bishop.
Here.
Counselor Ed Rankin.
Here.
Item 3, presentation of any town council recognitions. We'd like to honor Mary Jane Bush. She offered a lot to the community. I served with Mary Jane Bush on the comprehensive plan back in 2015. If we could just take a moment to recognize her contribution. Thank you. Consider minutes of previous meetings. We have town council meeting 1/23/24 and town council goals and objectives meeting from 2/5/2025.
Motion to approve. Second.
All those in favor?
Actually 25, not 24.
What did I say, 24?
January is still 25.
I will change my motion to amended as 2025.
I'll second that amendment.
Okay, all those in favor? Receive and review correspondence. We had police call on Verona from 1/22/2025. Any questions on that? And additionally, we had a Down East Transportation ridership report from January 2025. Item 6, ordinances to consider, introduce. We don't have any. Discussion items. Skateboard park location discussion. Infrastructure committee recommendation. Ed?
Tracy's not here tonight, so I'll fill you in with what I've got. It's, I met with Anthony McGuire and Josh Jackson. Superintendent Tripp couldn't be there that day. About potentially moving the batting cage and where we had discussed at the last meeting to put it out in the left field area and move that fence. It's not practical because of our property line and the slope of the land. So the other option is turning the batting cage where it is, but have it parallel with the superintendent's office, which would leave not an L for the skate park, but kidney bean.
Give me.
That's my word. The other issue is, there's 3 storm drains, I believe there's 3 storm drains. From what I'm told, are all connected together and then go into Elm Street. Which, yes, is a problem, but like I spoke with Derek, and could be a problem, might not be a problem. We need somebody that knows what they're doing with skate parks, a professional. So I think the recommendation is no recommendation. I need to get the skate park, the RSU, whoever needs to be involved to discuss it and actually get somebody who knows, a professional about the skate park design, these bowls, and get some more information and go from there. Because those storm drains are not necessarily make it dead in the water, it just
Something to work on.
need to be incorporated. Is that essentially good? Okay.
Okay. Item C is the animal shelter approval for fundraising.
Included in your packet are the concept design that was done by the architect, along with the interior and the cost schedule. And our code officer, Luke Cavelli, has kind of shepherded this along, and the request this evening is permission for the town to move forward with fundraising for this project that was identified previously in the site that was previously identified.
Okay. So you need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Item D, dam update.
I spoke to the new DEP staff person who is one of two people now overseeing the Bucksport Mill LLC landfill. They have been meeting bi-weekly with Bucksport Mill and continuing the process towards closure. They have no information from Bucksport Mill that there's any other party in the wings looking to reopen the site or any of that kind of thing.
Are we talking about the landfill or the dams?
I'm sorry, I started on the landfill.
Okay.
Oh, and I should have started with the dams because we received some information from Bucksport Mill LLC in regard to the dams. Information we requested last August. We received over 700 pages of information in response to questions. I'm not sure if all of the questions that we asked were answered because I haven't read all 700 plus pages yet. I spoke with our attorney this afternoon in terms of a plan for this evaluation, which is local review and identification of areas, and then in regard to the deeds and the ownership interest, our attorney's looking at those obligations with the goal of within a month or so having some response for or request for additional information from Bucksport Mill. Took us 4 months since the November request to get information, and we've received a lot. Due diligence means we need to know what we got and what we don't have. The 5-town committee met yesterday afternoon, discussed the process. Orland, Blue Hill, Surrey, and Penobscot are looking at a sort of watershed district approach where the 5 communities would form a district that would have taxing authority, et cetera, et cetera. Bucksport is not participating in that. We only have Silver Lake to look at. We're working with Maine Water and Bucksport Generation to look like what some model might look like if this has to move forward. Some representatives of the 5-town committee have a meeting with the DEP commissioner on Tuesday of next week, which he has granted. There's information in the packet. We got what we asked for. We got a 180-day extension through October, and we got the DEP to agree to our interpretation of the NDA issues. And interestingly enough, we got 700 pages and no request for an NDA. So of course my first question was, if we didn't get a request for an NDA and we get all this stuff, did we get the stuff that would have been covered by an NDA? And that's one of the questions back to Bucksport Mill is, since you didn't have to ask for one, did you give us the stuff that would have been covered by one if you had done so? But that's just one question. There were pages of questions, and there's a lot to go through in that regard, but I think we have an effective plan to review and respond, and now sufficient time to have a better evaluation period now that that has been extended, and I am grateful that the department has chosen to not only extend the time, accept the NDA information, but it has also made it clear that cooperation in this process will be an evaluative piece when they decide on whether to grant this petition or not. And that at the end of this consultation process, the report that Bucksport Mill LLC has to do on that process will be posted publicly on DEP's website for 30 days and allow comment on that, and they will take that comment into consideration as well. So that for us is all good news. That says they're paying attention to the process that we've asked for. So,
They being DEP.
DEP.
Yes.
The operative, the one that will decide or not whether or not the petition. I apologize for starting with the landfill.
Do you want to do that now?
They all run together at some point. I don't know if anyone has any questions on that.
Any questions on the dam update?
Ralph Chapman, Bucksport. The 400 pages that you made reference to must be in the public domain, and how is it that you can easily do that? Is it something that you can post on the town website? Is it a PDF
It's
form?
700 pages, and I had, in order for them to get it to me, they had to give a special link because the files were too big to do it. It's now in residence on my computer, and I can break it up in pieces and post it so people can have it, or I can break it up in pieces and email it to people who want. It will, that information will go on our town website under the dam information piece where I've put other stuff. I haven't done it yet, but that's where it will be.
You'll post it on the town website.
So I will.
Good, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, landfill.
Okay, dams. No, landfill.
Landfills.
I'll give up. It's been a week. As I said before, I've talked to the new people that are overseeing this process. They've been meeting bi-weekly with Bucksport Mill. There's no new potential buyer in the wings. There's Stacy that I spoke with yesterday indicated 12/31. 26 was still the deadline. Deputy Commissioner Madore said, I think 2 weeks ago, that they anticipated construction on that closure to begin in this year. Although there was a media coverage, and a spokesperson for Bucksport Mill said they were still actively looking for another community, another entity. I won't say entity, but it would have to be a community. They have no other options. No one has heard of anyone that might be, and neither DEP nor Bucksport has been notified of that, and any such thing would have to go through both the department and the town for permitting. So they can look, but they also have to continue this closure, and construction is on the horizon, shall we say.
Okay. Any questions from the public? Council? Good, okay. Item F, Memorandum of Understanding, Hancock County Habitat for Humanity, Safety and Accessibility-Based Home Modification Services for Older Adults in Bucksport.
This is a plan that we had started a year ago, more than a year ago, and it was at the time Habitat for Humanity, Bucksport Bay Healthy Community, and the town. And over the course of the past year, the structure has changed in that Habitat for Humanity is doing the home, and they have a volunteer who's doing the referral piece for additional services, and Bucksport Bay Healthy Communities is out of the picture in the agreement. And the first MOU was between the three, and it was reviewed by all and signed by none, but it was what we lived by under the first iteration. This program is successful. People are getting helped by it, and it is something that for years before Habitat for Humanity came up with this program, we wrestled. This is another one that Councilor Rankin would have said, we kicked this can a long time before we ever found a solution that was affordable and workable. Habitat has done a really good job, and I'm asking you to refer this to a resolve to move forward so that we can continue this program.
So this would be our third year.
That's correct.
Just the only difference now is it's just Habitat for
It's
Humanity.
just the town and Habitat. That's correct.
Yeah, this particular program has caught a lot of traction and has been managed well, has gained a lot of requests for it to be serviced, and on a larger scale with the lack of elderly care and nursing homes, it's been very helpful for everyone to be able to have the accessibility in their homes. So this is definitely one that we should continue to pay attention to.
I just have two questions.
Yes.
The eligibility screening, over 60, live in Bucksport, own their own home. Total annual gross combined household income below 80%, that puts them what, in about the $40,000 range-ish?
No, it's 80 is, what's the 80% one, Rich? I think 80 is like 47 or 48.
Okay.
It's more than,
And
because
then,
we just had this discussion on another topic.
okay,
And that's because the programs that Habitat does have those
oh yeah.
levels of income.
Now, I have a person in mind that could use this and wanted to know what the level should be. And then, is this a high demand in the town? That we put forward $500 per family. Do we need to cap this? I mean, do 100 people
We do
apply or
cap it.
5?
We capped it. We indicated that the maximum amount that the town, the number of projects the town would do in a year would be 20. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
750, that's $15,000.
Yep.
And that there is cap.
Okay, yep.
Both for the fact that it's a monetary contribution, we have to know what we're doing,
Yeah.
and because of the ability of Habitat
I'm
to
good. Thank you.
complete that.
And I think the first year and last year, we've discussed, if the need was greater, then we cross that bridge when they come to it.
Habitat has indicated that the way we're doing it is working well. They haven't received 25 applications and could only do 20. We haven't, because they're volunteers who are doing, have carpenters and they have volunteers.
Because I think last year we came in well under
We did,
15.
and I think we will this year as well, but it is used, and you've seen some of the signs, they put the signs on people's lawns that sort of give it an advertisement and help remove any stigma that people might have. It's not a, in terms of participation, it's a really good program.
Question for our public safety people, have we noticed or actually responded to a house that has been a beneficiary of that program yet? Because I know several years ago when this first came up, we had big issues with going into houses that we couldn't get stretchers in and out of safely because accessibility was so bad. Do we have any examples of?
Wasn't one of them they did last year, one of the ones they had trouble getting into? I can't remember the name.
That was the one on the old road.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, yeah.
So is it,
You're just looking for a consensus.
I'm looking for the okay to put this on as a resolve on the next council agenda.
Motion to put it on a resolve.
Yep, second.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Okay. Services Committee update. Council Rankin?
We had suggest to appoint for the Community Resilience Partnership Committee members Chris Johnson, Rich Rotella, Suzanne DePhillips, and Peter Fitzgerald.
And item 8, agenda items. A, resolve 2025-39 to approve acceptance of Maine Forest Service grant in the amount of $4,413. It's the pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Item B, resolve 2025-40 to support Bucksport's continued engagement with Maine Community Resilience Partnership. Just to point out, there is no additional monetary requirement, it's just staying in. Do you want to speak to that at all, Rich?
I can, and Debbie Grimming from our Service Provider Committee team is here as well. So the project all along has been no cost to the town, minus the hours that I put in. So we had 2 projects that we thought we'd be able to move forward with. Unfortunately, one was a duplicated effort, and the other one we found out last moment didn't qualify. So the state graciously granted us a 6-month extension, still no cost to the town. And would really like that time to make an impact on the town.
This is the program that is run by Alan Kratz, correct?
That's correct. And Debbie Grimmig is here. She's on his service provider team.
Excellent. Thank you.
It's the pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Item C, resolve 2025-41 to support Clean Economy Works application for a rural business development grant. Maybe we'll bring Rich back up for that too.
Should have just stayed. And I apologize, that should have been worded for the town of Bucksport. I changed the resolve to reflect that. I picked up a little bit of work on that. So that you're aware, BDO Zone Initiative is a certification and regional risk rating program that enables economic development agencies and communities to effectively and credibly disclose feedstock and infrastructure attributes and risks and promote bio-based development opportunities to developers and investors around the world. This is a proactive step. We have some property in Bucksport that could potentially qualify for some of these businesses. Potentially the industrial park, potentially the Sprague North property, and the impact that this could have, the total economic impact potential of a BDO zone designation in the United States is estimated at 160,500 direct, indirect, and induced jobs, and over $16 billion annually in direct and indirect economic benefits. Every new plant moves the needle. A single large-scale advanced biofuel manufacturing plant means on average 321 jobs and more than $29 million annual to the local economy. This would essentially give us a rating. Bucksport would be the epicenter, and a 75-mile radius around the epicenter would be part of that rating. I was able to, while I was out, the folks I was working with was able to get letters of recommendations from 4 places in the state of Maine, the city of Old Town, because they fit in that 75-mile radius. Robbins Lumber down in the Belfast area, just outside, I think that's actually in Sears Mont, and a couple of others, including the Lumber Association, and then 2 outside entities who are in the business who are looking for locations. So this is a proactive step instead of being reactive. This will put us ahead of the curve to get that rating.
What exactly is under the biofuels?
Woody biomass.
Just that? There's no other
It's biofuel, so it's the parts that don't get used for really anything else. If you remember, there was a company called Biofine that had applied for a grant through MTI and had used Bucksport as its location. They've actually relocated to Lincoln, and they've actually signed on as well as a letter of support for this project as well. So it's green, it's clean, it's an alternative, but it's also from byproduct that is here in the state of Maine. And again, this grant, no cost to the town of Bucksport. Sort of like the same thing with the Community Resilience Partnership that you had talked about. Again, it's my time, and the bulk of my time was on the grant and stuff. This will only help the town of Bucksport with getting that rating.
We're gonna authorize you to be the signature person for the going forward.
Yes, because everything will come in, it has to be sent out tomorrow, so I'm gonna come in tomorrow, sign off the paperwork that they're gonna send me, because the grant, unfortunately, is due tomorrow. We had the weather a couple weeks ago, so everything's been done, it's just the final paperwork and needing the council's authorization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Item 9, resignations, appointments, and assignments and elections. Community Resiliency Partnership Committee member additions. We'd be adding Rich Rotella, Chris Johnson, Suzanne DePhillips, and Peter Fitzgerald.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? And item B, resignations. Hannah Flashbart Zahn, full-time firefighter, AEMT. Pleasure of the committee.
Do we have any more insight on that? From what I read, it's just a scheduling conflict for her for full-time status, but she's gonna.
Baby.
She had a child. Yeah. But she's gonna stay home.
Yeah, she's gonna be staying.
She has a new baby.
But she is gonna stay, but it looked like she wanted to stay on
She's gonna stay on per diem, that was her request, and maybe give us a day a month.
later on. Okay. I think that says a lot about you folks if that's what she wants to do, to leave a full-time position but stay on part-time, so thanks for that.
You need a motion for
I
that?
think we do.
Motion to accept.
Second.
All right. All those in favor? Motion passes. Item 10, approval of quick claims, discharges and deeds. The first one would be Michael Allison, map 18, lot 59, tax lien discharge from June 28th, 2023. We do these all as one? Or
No.
Individual, okay. What's the pleasure of the council for?
Motion to approve.
Second. I got my place back, second.
Okay. All those in favor? Next would be Lisa L. Chipman, map 40, lot 16, tax lien discharge of June 28th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Item C, Melinda L. Danico, map 32, lot 200, tax lien discharge from June 16th, 2022 and June 28th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? And lastly, Melinda L. Donico, map 32, lot 200, a sewer lien discharge from 03/23/21, September 28th, 21, 03/23/22, 10/19/22, and 03/22/2023.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Next up is town manager report.
I didn't have lost my own. The Bucksport Area Service Network met via Zoom for its monthly meeting today. This group was formed at the start of the pandemic as a way for all local service providers to share information, triage to find solutions to local issues, and work on expanding communications among providers. This morning's meeting provided a number of new connections with public health nursing and the library and the senior center and the medical center, as well as information regarding events and activities at our SU 25, the local Thrive program for older adults, our police, fire, and EMS systems, and overall what's the town doing information. There is a public event this Saturday at 10 a.m. at the Alamoosic Lodge to commemorate Mary Jane Bush and her life, and a luncheon will follow. She was a huge force for good in this region for decades, and many of the services for seniors and youth are due to her persistence and her perseverance. Jacob and Rachel and I have been meeting with departments to review their proposed budgets. The process is going very well, and we are keeping in mind the goals that the council has set. I had the opportunity to meet with participants in the Ellsworth Chamber of Commerce Leadership Program with former Superintendent Jim Boothby this week to discuss municipal leadership. They were a great group, and we had a very interesting discussion. I also met with the Winterport Town Council on Tuesday evening at their invitation to discuss the differences between select person town meeting and town council manager forms of government and possible updates to their town charter. And I won't spoil it for Rich, but we have exceptional news, and I will let him tell you about that when he's up to give his report.
All right, under department head reports,
They're just in the back.
right, but is he coming up for that one?
Nope, he comes up under
Oh,
public comment
okay,
or counselor comment.
okay. Then item 12 would be set public hearings and or hold public hearings and approval of any licenses or permits. We have a couple licenses. One is a public entertainment license for Wednesdays on Main, located on Main Street, a Rhythm and Blues Review, July 30th, 2025, at the Waterfront Gazebo. Does anybody have any questions on that?
That is the weekend after the Day Festival. Is that what that schedule looks like? Just out of curiosity.
Day Festival is Saturday, July 19th. That should be Wednesday, July 30th. So it's a week and a half after Bay Festival.
Okay.
Thanks, Rich.
Oh, right, you need a motion. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Item B is festival public entertainment license with The Village, Ghostport on 10/19/2025.
Motion to approve.
All those in favor? Next up is discussion items not on the agenda for council and public. We can start with public, we'll save Rich a minute longer. Anything from the public?
Bill Chapman again. I understand from an earlier item in tonight's agenda dealing with the biofuels opportunity matter. You should know that feedstock for the biofuels in that program includes municipal solid waste. So you ought to be aware of that so that we don't find ourselves actually doing something here that we don't want to do relative to taking in municipal solid waste from all over to put through a biofuels plant here in town. Just thought you might be not aware that that is one of the things. Rich mentioned, wood waste and so forth from forest products, et cetera, but it includes municipal solid waste. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else from the public?
Jennifer?
Come on up.
Jamie Grindle, I'm part of the Skate Bucksport Committee. And if you let me circle back to the skate park real quick, is that allowed? It sounded like there was just a couple concerns. One was the drainage. The builders that we've spoken to, they're extremely professional. Their profession is concrete building, and their bread and butter is is drainage. So the first thing they would do is actually look at drainage. They'd call Dig Safe, make sure that everything was on board, probably look at a lot of our town records, make sure that there's no pre-existing, lines or anything down there that they might hit. So that would be probably the first thing that they would do.
Oh, never mind.
And the other one was the batting cages. It sounded like there's no way to work around that.
We can shift it,
Shift it.
which if we shift, so it's parallel with the fence by the superintendent's office,
Okay,
so it's not going into the skate park.
okay,
It wouldn't give you the full L that we discussed, but from the corner of that batting cage, if it was shifted with a little bit of a buffer zone, would leave 42 feet from there to the Ian playground fence right now, which potentially the playground is gonna be smaller, the footprint.
Mhm.
We could move that fence if the council felt that was deemed, so you could gain even more room.
okay.
The
Kind of-
drainage isn't a no-go, cause if the company,
Yeah,
they're
again,
obviously gonna have drainage, they could,
they'd probably tie into the actual pre-existing drain that's there.
Right.
Oh,
so it's just a matter of making sure that that's fit in budget-wise, that if that's an added expense.
Yeah.
As most people know, I'm very impatient. So I would love for that baseball, softball complex to happen now, which would alleviate so many concerns and issues with the space we have.
Well, and that was my concern too, is, we have, some grants and stuff that do have deadlines. Derek has a lot of that information. But, it's the general fact that someday those are gonna be out of there anyways. And, as everybody knows, concrete is extremely permanent. You can add on to it, but that's the additional cost after that. So that's more effort on our end. It's already gonna be quite the endeavor. So when we do this, we kind of want it to be a one and done. This is permanent. This is something that's gonna stay there. It's hard to remove concrete, and it's even harder to add on to it later on. So when we do pick this footprint, whatever it may be, we just want to make sure that we have the space that would be either granted now or inevitably granted later once certain structures are gone. So we just want to make sure we pick the right time to do so. To make sure that we're not wasting effort and time and money.
Cause right now, I'm not gonna speak for the whole council, but this is my opinion, is that if we allocate the spot with the space we have right now, you're restricted.
Right.
If we waited, it opens up so much more room. You could shift over towards where the field is now, cause the dugout's gone, batting cage gone.
Right.
I mean, this is all hypothetical that this is gonna happen, but I'm gonna push and try to make this happen.
Okay. So it's kind of like just a rolling thing for now.
Right, this could take several years,
Well,
but
just-
that changes the whole dynamic of it.
Right.
You could have a bigger skate park, a better skate park, and I get not wanting to invest all this time and money and then be like,
Yeah.
we could have been here and that would have been.
And all I can't speak for the whole committee, but I mean, just generally, all we really want is to make sure that we keep those conversations rolling, we stay active in the community and we stay on your guys' radar to make sure that this thing is important to the town and important to kids and important to you guys.
Absolutely, and I think if anybody gets, extra information, we collaborate and get the RSU involved in the skate park committee and whoever needs to be involved.
Okay. That's all.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Rich?
No pressure, but this is supposed to be exceptional.
It is,
It's good news. So the Penobscot Estuary Trust, the lawsuit, the settlement money from the contamination upriver, the town of Bucksport has been awarded $825,000 for three-phase power, a hydrant, and resilience efforts on the town dock project as well. So now we have a total of $4,925,000 to go towards that project. And the really great things about what was added is the hydrant. Right now, if there was a fire down there, I mean, Chief Denning's crew, there's no hydrant down there to plug into. It'd be right there. So if something were to happen with any of the yachts or the cruise ships we have, they can plug right in at the dock itself. And the three-phase power, preventing the cruise ships from using their generators, and they'll be able to plug in using that instead. So a lot of positives coming out of that. And one other positive that I did not get a chance to share with Sue is Mike and I, the Harbor Master Mike Orsby and I attended a cruise conference in Bangor about a month ago, and there was some miscommunication somewhere along the line between a couple people that our construction was going to be starting and they wouldn't be able to use the dock this year, so we were limited to one cruise ship visit. We just got an updated schedule and we now are on the schedule for 15 visits this year. So lots of good stuff.
How do we bill out for the power? Is it directly metered for that time usage?
We'll have to figure all that out. I haven't even met with the engineer yet. I have a meeting tomorrow with the engineer and American Cruise Lines. Currently, what we do if they use water currently. They don't use power, they use generator if they need it, but they haven't needed to use it, but that could be something that's designed into the plans.
It would be designed into the rate
Yeah.
that we charge per foot. If you use power or you don't use power would be the appropriate way to, because right now the rates for our marina people per foot incorporate the fact that they use electricity and water.
And internet.
And that's built into the rate, and if we add three-phase power to then the usage of that would be built into whatever per foot cost we were charging cruise ships or whatever to them.
And just a lot of like big yacht clubs will go, that's into this, per foot, but if you exceed, because larger vessels can draw up much more power than.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have a yacht club coming back again this year as well. That same one that Mike's been getting for the last 2 years will be coming back for a third time.
Excellent.
Yep. So yes, $825,000 more coming towards, and no match.
That is exceptional.
Yeah.
I want you to understand how hard Rich has worked for this. We started working with Greenfield Trust how many years ago, Rich? Well, actually, we started before
the trust.
there was a trust. We were working directly with the attorneys for Holtracom to promote this project. And
It's been at least 5 years, right?
what's that?
It's been at least 5 years.
At least 5 years. And Rich has done an exceptional job of answering every question anybody ever asked. Mike has offered to take them out on the river. It's just been a really collaborative effort, and we are so fortunate that we have personnel who step up and I'm reflective, obviously, because I'm heading towards the end of my tenure here, but if you add up the amount of grant funding that departments and economic development has brought to Bucksport in the last 10 years, it far exceeds the fund balance that you had when the mill closed. And it has leveraged twice that. So hats off, the staff has worked so hard, and this, when we got notification of this, because we didn't make it in round one, but Mr. Persistence got us another chance, and we made it in this round. So I couldn't be more proud of this organization and how hard they worked, but this one is Rich. So
Excellent.
I told you it was good news.
Good news.
This was not, I wasn't kidding.
Any items from the council?
I have a question. Actually, I have a question for Chief Denning. And here's where the question comes from, here's where my thought process is. for homeowners insurance, when you live here in the village and you have a hydrant, a fire hydrant outside of your home, that has a positive impact on your homeowners insurance. If you live within 5 miles driving distance of a fire station, that also has a positive impact on your homeowners insurance. So with all that as background, the question I have, or where I'm heading with the question is, last Saturday, Chief Denning had command of quite a fire scene out on Williams Pond Road. Not only did he have Bucksport, but he had 5 additional mutual aid fire departments with tankers and manpower and all that. And it was quite a fire load, and a lot of gallons of water flowed over there for a long period of time. The call came in a little after 5, and they didn't clear till before midnight. So we've got a huge volume of water over a long period of time. And it's my understanding that the insurance services that we use, can we take your information from that fire and present it to them to work towards getting them to sign off on, yes, we flowed a lot of water for a long time and have an impact on the homeowner's insurance for those outside the village?
I'll come up and address that.
Because it was quite an evening for you guys.
So, what Counselor Rabs is talking about, so halfway through the fire, we changed operations and went with aerial operations with a deck gun. So, we flowed approximately 500 gallons a minute of water continuously for 2 hours. ISO, when they come in and rate our town, okay, so his information is correct. If you're 1,000 feet from a fire hydrant, you have a rate. If you're within that 5 miles, you have another rate. If you're 1,001 feet from the hydrant, you don't get that rate, you get the 5 miles. So, for me, I live 1.8 miles from the fire station. I'm over 1,000 feet. I'm basically a class 9. The worst rating is a 10, which is no fire protection. So outside that 5 miles, and you can use different fire stations to rate for mutual aid. If you're within that, you can use that as long as they're in the automatic mutual aid pack. So we do have areas out back, what we call the dead zone, and I don't know how many houses it affects. It's, probably between 100 and 200 houses, I'm guessing. That's class 10. Their rates are double and triple for homeowners insurance. So they're paying for a class 10. So ISO, when they come in, they rate you. And one of the things to get them from a 10 to a 9 out back in the dead zone is able to flow 250 gallons a minute uninterrupted for 2 hours. So in theory, you are correct. Some insurance companies will honor that, some don't. Everyone's a little different. Most will, I believe. So I have put a phone call into ISO today to get some
We
clarification.
didn't shut this up, by the way.
No, we didn't. So I have contacted them. They haven't called me back, but next week we'll get in touch again, and it's worth pursuing, absolutely.
Would ISO require those numbers through a certified pump test, or could you use scene data to provide?
Well, I'm hoping to do that.
Okay.
Scene data, yes. So whether we can or not, I don't know. It's worth checking out.
Worth looking into. Sure.
Because some of these other towns now, their tankers are amazing. Orrington has a 2,500 gallon tanker. I don't know if you folks have seen it. It's amazing.
So is ours though.
Absolutely. 2,200 gallons of water.
There was some pretty big tankers out there that
Yep.
night.
Dedham's, Castine, they're all brand new. Ours, So
Ours is
we
an
were
F-bed.
hauling a lot of water, so, and it worked out good. About 6.2 miles from the hydrant to the scene, so it worked out good. So we
Nice.
saved the main portion. They'll put a new truss system on and rebuild the top, so. There was a lot of fire when we first got there, so Captain Fleming had the scene till I got there. He did an awesome job, so.
Excellent.
So, whole crews, everyone did great, so.
Yeah, I know that sounds like a lot of time from, what would you say, 5 in the evening till midnight, is that what you said?
Yeah, I think
And I was on water supply, it was 16 degrees.
And there's, but for the time of year, that's actually, it's a very competent time frame for a structure fire.
Oh, yeah,
In the past, it's been
Yeah.
a day and a half with cleanup, so
oh, yeah,
that's a good, that's a good competent scene time.
worked out good, so. The owner, I've spoken with him, very happy, so.
Thanks, chief.
Nice.
Anything else from the council? I did have one thing. I did correspond with Paul today, the mayor, and he asked if everybody could have their goals and objectives in by Monday, the 10th, to him.
The priority list.
Yeah,
Which ones?
goals and objectives, the top 5.
Oh, yeah. Hmm?
Upcoming public hearings, designation of topic for committee assignments, and scheduling of committee meetings. Do we have any of that? Okay. Item 15, executive session pursuant to MRS Title I, Section 4056A1. We're gonna,
To include assistant manager grant.
to include assistant manager grant, we're gonna go into executive session, and when we come back, we won't be doing anything on the other side.
Is it good to?
Need a motion.
Oh, we need a motion.
I need a motion to go into executive session.
He's done.
Second.
All those in favor?
Goals and objectives, I know they're here on